Can you define trauma? You go to very careful lengths in the book to make sure that people understand trauma isn't always getting hit with a bat or being sexually abused. Like there's a range that can be wildly impactful.
Well, let's take Lou Gehrig, after whom the disease is named in North America. His father was an alcoholic, and Lou Gehrig was one of these really nice guys that took care of his mother emotionally. He had to. That's what happens in the home of an alcoholic. Very often the child becomes the caregiver. Now, he was such a nice guy that, you know, the record that he set for consecutive games played, that stood for so many decades. Why did he set that record? Because even if he was sick, he would play. Because he's too dutiful to his teammates to take himself out of a game. Is that a healthy thing or not? It's not healthy. On the other hand, when there was a young rookie on the Yankees who got sick and he couldn't play, and the manager was very upset with this kid, Gehrig says, "What are you talking about? He's sick, he can't play." Took the rookie to his own home, where he lived with his mother. His mother put the kid to bed, the rookie, nursed him, and Lou Gehrig slept on the couch. So that kind of self-sacrificing, self-negating, emotionally repressed, really nice person is the person which is typical of the ALS personality, and there's been a whole lot of studies on that show that, you know, these are the people that get ALS. It's just that the doctors don't make the link between that personality pattern and the ALS. They just
basically swallowing your anger.
Swallowing your healthy anger.
Swallowing your healthy anger is directly causative to ALS?
I think it's a major contributor. You never see it. You never see it, and you never see the healthy anger in anybody with ALS, and you always see this hyper-conscientious, hyper-autonomous self-sufficiency that, no, I don't need any help. No. And when you talk to neurologists, which has been done in studies, they always describe their patients as extraordinarily nice. ALS patients, extraordinarily nice. Why are they so nice? Because they repress their healthy aggression. It's just that the neurologists don't make the link between that and the disease. I'm saying that plays a major role, because that repression of emotions, again, the emotions are not separable from our physiology. The nervous system and the immune system and hormonal apparatus and the gut and the heart, they're all one system. When something happens in one area, something happens in the other area as well. Look, the analogy in the book is this. Think of a person with a big beach ball trying to push a beach ball under the water. That takes a lot of effort. Now, have you ever been angry?
Of course.
Okay. Now, when you're angry, it's not just an emotional state in your head, the whole body is. Now, how much energy would it take to suppress that energy, to suppress that anger? Can you imagine? So that you don't even feel it? But not feeling your anger was an adaptation to your childhood, where the anger wasn't permitted. So that emotional, physiological effort of repressing anger takes a toll on the nervous system and on the immune system. It's a major role in disease. I'm saying, it pays a major contribution.
Yeah, this is where the book really starts to get into some fascinating territory as you go through all these different diseases and you start talking about, okay, repressing anger. You go into the natural killer T cells end up being suppressed because you're putting so much energy away from your immune system. Your immune system can't keep up. And so there's all kinds of things like cancer that are afflicted. There was one thing where you said, like, back in the 1800s or early 1900s, there was a doctor that was like, oh, whenever you see somebody with heart disease, they have this type of personality. And you even talk about in the book the type C. You said it's not a personality type, but that there are traits that people with type C have that end up being sort of pro-disease personality traits. What are some of those traits?
Well, before I answer that, let me go back to something. Let's talk about healthy anger for a minute, if you could. Okay? Then I'll illustrate these traits. Okay? What is healthy anger? Why are we given healthy anger? So there's a system in our brain for anger. not just for us, mammals. What is it there for? It's there to protect our boundaries. Somebody to invade your space, physically, or in the case of human beings, emotionally, used to say, no, stay out. That's the role of healthy anger. Now, if I repressed that healthy anger, what would happen to me in life? People would be just trespassing all over me all the time because I had no boundaries. So healthy anger is a boundary defense. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Healthy anger is a boundary defense. It just says...
Seems like one of its uses, I'll be honest. I don't know that I'd say it's its only use, but I don't know if
healthy
that matters.
anger, that's its only use. That's its major use.
Just boundary protection.
That's its major use. That's why it came along. Animals have it. You're in my space. Ah! Get out.
How far are you extending that to loved ones? So now if you encroach upon a loved one...
Well, if your loved one intrudes your space emotionally...
No, I mean if somebody else is intruding on my loved one.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's you or your loved ones, anything you cherish. Absolutely, for sure. So that's healthy anger. So the role of anger is to set a boundary between what's nourishing, to let in. The role of healthy anger is to keep out what's dangerous and unwelcome, right? What's the role of the emotional system in general? Is to let in what's healthy and nurturing and to keep out what's dangerous and unwelcome. Is that fair enough?
Seems good.
What's the role of the immune system?
Same, basically.
Exactly. It's the same. The role of the immune system is to keep out what's dangerous and toxic, allowing what's nourishing and healthy. The immune system and the emotional system are not separate systems. They're part and parcel of the same apparatus. They're unified. When you suppress the emotions, you're also suppressing the immune system. When you don't know how to defend your emotional boundaries, that also weakens your immune boundaries physiologically. It's that simple. Or if you repress the anger, that anger doesn't go away, doesn't evaporate into the heavens. It turns against you in the form of depression or self-loathing and so on. In the same way, the immune system turns against you, and now you have autoimmune disease. And so the traits that were identified with chronic illness, most chronic illness like cancers or autoimmune disease, are emotional self-suppression, inability to experience healthy anger, desire to please others, to fit in, to be acceptable, to be nice, to be ignoring of your own needs. These are the traits that are over and over and again identified in the literature, whether with multiple sclerosis or rheumatoid arthritis or with cancer. Now, these are not the real person. These are adaptive traits in response to the childhood environment, but they take a heavy toll. Or take another so-called illness. And by the way, the case I'm making is that what we call illness is actually response to life. So take depression, this so-called biological disease of the brain. What does it mean to depress something?
Try to push it down.
To push it down. What's get pushed on in depression? Well, I can tell you, I've been depressed. What gets pushed on depression is your natural emotions. Everything is flat, and nothing matters, nothing has any meaning.
And that starts with people pushing them down?
That's the word. That's what the word means. It means to push it down. It starts in childhood with people having to push down their emotions. Why do they have to push down their emotions? To fit in with other people's expectations.
So, and I don't know the literature on this at all. So there, oftentimes then the depression will just sort of creep in slowly. I always assumed it was tied to something, being stuck in a bad relationship, a death in the family, loss of a job, that there would be some sort of triggering event.
Well, okay, fair enough. If you're in a bad relationship, the healthy response is not depression, but to deal with the challenges in the relationship, either by working them out or by leaving the relationship. Depression isn't a necessary outcome. The response to the death of a close one, is not depression, it's grief. Grief is the healthy response. We have a system in our brain for grief, by the way.
So grief becomes depression when you're not allowing yourself to grieve.
But you don't know how to grieve properly, yeah. And you don't know how to grieve properly because your emotions were suppressed as a child. And so, yeah, we have these healthy systems, but their activity gets deformed through our natural expectations.